Hello class, I'd like to give you your weekly update video for October 26th through November 1st. So this is the 11th week of the semester, so we're past the halfway point here. And you may be finishing up your project. This is the design for a business project where I wanted you to choose a bakery and design a responsive layout for that site. And it's due Sunday, October 25th by the end of the day. So it looks like some of you have already turned that in. Some of you still working on it. 15% of your grade, and I am recording this video on Sunday, October 25th. So I didn't post a new project for you this week since you just finished this one up, but I will have another new one for you next week. And then I'll do that one and possibly one more before the final project, but I'm not sure. So I will get a new project for you next week. So let's go into the weekly module. I did go ahead and post quite a bit of content for you this week and one discussion board assignment. So I want you to check out the new lecture links and tutorial videos. I'll show you those in a second again. I've got a new tutorial for you that I think you'll find useful. And then advising and registration continues for spring. And then also the discussion board assignment. So that's going to be pretty much it. So let's go into the lecture links. So I wanted to give you some more material here just to watch and read. So there's a YouTube video on website mockups, which is kind of interesting, so you might check that one out. And then 3 different articles. Some of you may have picked these articles in the forum assignment, but there's a design showcase, which is really good because I think, as you get the basics down, like you're doing in this class, it really helps to go and look at showcase websites, website awards, to get an idea of what other designers are doing. So check that one out when you get a chance. Also, there's search engine optimization. So these are topics that, they take a long time to cover, and, you could devote an entire class or, at least half of a class to search engine optimization and website marketing and social media and all of that. But it's a good idea in a beginning class to start reading some of these things. So I put one up on search engine optimization, and then there's one on designing for the 5 senses. It's an article that I thought was pretty interesting as well. So check those out this week when you get a chance. Move on to the tutorial links here on the left-hand side. And last week I posted this new series of tutorials where I'm designing a new layout. It's kind of similar to the last ones, but it works a little bit better because the menu, the navigation itself, is responsive. And in this case, I gave you a website. Now, I don't do that a lot because what has happened in the past when I've taught this class for a lot of years now, is if I give the websites, a lot of people just grab my code and then just kind of change it around, like change the images. And so I end up with people turning in the exact same site as me with just different images. So I don't want that to happen, but I did want to give you the code this time and the site so you could see how I built this. And it's really not that complicated, but the new tutorial here is adding custom graphics to your site. So that's going to get a little bit into Photoshop and making your sites look better. And then here's the example site. So you can see it's just a portfolio site that I designed for myself. But obviously our goal when you're doing these sites is, the new goal as you've gotten the basics down, is you not only want the sites to be responsive like you see right here, but you also want the site to look better than some of the beginning sites that we did, because those don't have much design to them. So this just has minimal design to it, but it looks a whole lot better. I just did a little header image in Photoshop, and then I stuck with the CSS menu, and then I used some stock photography. This photography is free for any use, even commercial use, the one that I used in the example. And when you drag down, you've got a nice little responsive menu. So again, the idea here is that whether you're working with a client, so building a website for a client, or maybe you're trying to get a job and you're showing either your graphic design, your web design skills, what's going to happen if you've built your site is that someone is going to open that up and look at it on a small screen like a phone. And if it doesn't look good, they're gonna rule you out because you don't know how to design a site that's responsive. So that really has become the big thing here over the last 5 years or so, is that every site really does need to be responsive. So that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on that. But it doesn't mean that it has to be complicated. It still can be a simple, usable website. Even the code is not that complicated on this website. So this is just another one for you to check out that you can use in the next project. And then the W3 schools CSS tutorial. Keep working on the CSS advanced links, just kind of at your own pace on that. And then our schedule, so we're in week 11, so we're working on the new CSS site. We'll look at the FTP and HTML forms next week. Also, I'll post a new project for you. We'll get into audio and video, and then I did want to start assigning some things from lynda.com so you can at least get a start on that. You know, you're not going to be finishing, whole courses on lynda.com, but I wanted to sort of point you in the right direction for where to go after this class is over if you're not going to take another class, but you still want to continue learning in the field. So we'll look at lynda.com. So that's pretty much it here for your assignments, things to work through this week. The discussion board is kind of the same thing here, but I wanted to just do another one to get you some points and give you an assignment to turn in this week. So this time I want you to do more site critique, but I want you to focus on the user interface design and the overall site navigation. So you want to identify 2 websites, and one that you think has a navigation and effective user interface, and then another one that you think is hard to use. So it's kind of like usability, but the focus here is, how is the website navigated? So like for this Blackboard site, it would be this menu. So you wouldn't use this obviously, but you could write about if you think this is an effective design and way to navigate the site. Now it usually helps to pick larger sites, like retail or automotive or something that interests you that has a lot of links to it, because obviously if you're doing a small site, like the site I showed you, a portfolio site, or like a local business or something, most of those are pretty straightforward. You got 5-10 pages. They've all got the about page, the contact page. There's not a whole lot going on with the navigation, the user interface with that. But I find it helpful to look at those larger sites that companies have spent millions and millions on, and really see what they're doing with their navigation, their user experience, and everything. So that would be the only assignment you have to do. A short paragraph for each. Make sure you include the URLs, and then you want to turn that in by Sunday, November 1st, by the end of the day. Okay, so that is it for your weekly updates for October 26th through November 1st.